Hey everybody, John Duncan here. Going to put together a quick live here. I've got client appointments all the rest of the day. So I wanted to talk about something that a lot of clients have ran into over the years, and that's business valuation. A lot of you are business owners, and it's one of those things where a lot of times you might have a lot of your personal net worth tied up in one or multiple businesses. And it's kind of a struggle to figure out how much they're actually like, what is it worth? And the rule of thumb is the more involved you are with the business, the less the valuation. So an example would be like somebody that's uh, in finance or a CPA, and a lot of the business is based on personal relationships. They can only expect a lot of times in the 1 to 2, maybe 3 times the annual revenue as an actual value of their business. Uh, Compare that to someone that owns like a piece of software that's created and it does its own thing. That could be worth 9, 10 times or more the annual revenue, because it's not dependent on the actual, like a person or a location. So basically what I'm going to put as a link to this when I'm done is a link to a little 4-page cheat sheet that basically will walk you through how to determine how much, if you own a business or multiple businesses, how to figure what the, you know, uh, a ballpark figure of what it's worth. Now, with that, in the little, it's a 4-page long report here, I also included a little idea, a little strategy, if you will, of how you can also look at it to extract some of that value from the business, and move over to personal wealth instead of it being tied up in the business. Businesses today, there's a stat out, there's like 70,000 lawsuits a day in America. And the big issue I talk to a lot of clients about, and I see it all the time, is that in a lot of cases, almost all of their net worth is tied up in their business. And it's kind of like, think of it like equity in a home. It doesn't earn any interest if it's just sitting inside the business. And with this little business valuation cheat sheet that I'm going to put the link to, what a lot of business owners don't realize is how much the business is actually worth. There's a lot of times the business, say a business is bringing in just a round figure, $1 million a year. And based on, the formula, maybe it's worth 6 or 7 times the value of the revenue based on how the competition is and how involved the actual owner is. That would mean that business is worth, in essence, of $6 or 7 million. Well, sometimes, the business owner might have piled every dollar he has or she has into that business to grow it. And then a lawsuit comes along and they maybe personally don't have much in assets, maybe next to nothing, but that business is sitting there with a $6 to $7 million valuation. So that's why it's super important to know, at least ballpark, what your value of your business is, and at the same time, ways to extract some of that value and get it away from the business risk. You wouldn't want to have to work 6, 7, 8 years if you were that person to pay off a lawsuit for free. And essentially, a lot of people leave way too much business value inside the business, and they don't realize it's even there. The other thought when you're thinking about business value, a lot of times people have this idea that the business is going to do great forever. And in today's technology-driven world, I mean, entire industries change overnight. What I mean by that is sometimes if you've got too much value stuck inside a business and you're waiting for that day when you're going to sell that business, and it could be 5 years, 10, 20 years down the road, and you're holding off till that day and you're just trying to build the value and you're not extracting any of the value out, what can happen is that day comes and the business isn't worth near what you thought because technology change or whatever, or anything could have happened in between here and there. So there are ways to extract some of that value out. So I just want you to be aware of that. But I'm going to put the download link in this after that I'm off this video. And again, it's not that hard to get a rough idea about what your business is actually worth. And a lot of times people are super shocked at how much the business is actually worth, because it's just fact of life. A lot of times the business might have every dollar invested in growth and equipment or whatever. And as a business owner, it's easy to get caught up in thinking, well, that's what it is. The business is worth zero. Well, the business value is based on that revenue, on the recurring revenue. That's what it's based on. I guess the flip side of that would be a business that they think is very valuable, but the revenue is not that good, or it's so tied to each and every case, and the people write it. If that's the case, it doesn't have a lot of value to someone else to invest in. So by using this simple little formula that I'm going to provide as a download, you're able to see what your business is worth now. And then just by using the little formula, you'll be able to see some different things that you can do to increase the value so that you can, down the road, if in fact you do sell it, then it's worth way more. I'll wrap on this. Bottom line is, let's say you were a single entity person that had great revenue. Well, looking at this formula, you would find ways to pull yourself back and build the business so that it wasn't so dependent on you. And the further you can get away from it being dependent on you, the value of the actual business goes up and up. So anyway, I hope that helps. I've got to get ready and get going on some client meetings. I appreciate you. Again, this is John Duncan, and I'll talk to you soon.